Peter, how are you?
I am awesome. How about yourself?
I am amazing. So I want to start today with a tweet you sent out earlier because I think it really, I promise it'll be a good one. But it level sets for a lot of people who are living in this entrepreneur world or have entrepreneurial tendencies. And you were talking about the lion.
Yes.
And if you change one variable to that lion, it becomes a much different creature, right? Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, it's the premise that a lion is king of the jungle, but you drop that lion in Antarctica and he's a penguin's bitch.
Sure.
Right? So the premise is basically that we spend all of our time, we don't spend enough time thinking about the what ifs, right? And I think if you don't, or I should rephrase that, we think about the what ifs, but we don't actually act on them.
Sure.
Right? We say, what if we did, it'll never work. Well, how do you know? You haven't tried it. I mean, when I started helping Reporter out, I think within 3 days of starting HARO, I got a lawsuit. A PR Newswire threatened to sue me. I'm like, guys, we're posting the same queries. If a reporter sends me the same query they send you, we both post them. Where's the issue here? And I said to them, like, guys, take me out to dinner. Buy me a steak and a martini. I'll give you the 200 members I have in the group. I'll give you their emails. I'm not trying to make money here. 6 months later, we were 5 times the size of ProfNet, and it was acquired 3 years later for millions. And, I like asking what if. I like asking what if for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, I wonder what if is going to happen. I wonder what if we did this, And it's funny, the ADHD brain in me is wired to that. And as a kid, that never worked out in my advantage, right? Never worked out in my favor.
Right.
I remember very specifically attempting to shave the cat. That is not a euphemism for anything. I literally was about 7 years old and attempted to shave my parents and my cat. And I said I wanted to see what would happen if I shaved the cat. And my mother, nothing good will happen if you shave the cat, right? But as you get older and you start to ask what if, and you have the ability and the wherewithal and the tools to make those changes, and I think that's one of the reasons I love the cloud so much as an entrepreneur is that whatever I want to work on, it's at my fingertips, whatever I'm doing. I mean, I was running yesterday. I had surgery on my foot. I haven't been able to run for about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the first day I was able to run.
Congrats.
Oh my God, I ran the strip like 4 in the morning. By the way, you never feel more sanctimonious than when you get to run at 4 a.m. in the strip and you're like, I'm healthy and all you people are wrong. So I'm coming home and I'm coming back from the run and I have this brilliant idea. And I haven't, I'm like, that's where those ideas have been. They're locked in the dopamine. I haven't been running. And so jump my Apple Watch, remind me in 2 hours to do the thing, and 2 hours later I get it, because I wouldn't remember it otherwise. Just have that, the tech exists today that, and the tech exists to the point where I think out of all the bad stuff that's happening in the world, the worst possible thing you could say, the worst, most offensive term you could say, I think is I'm bored. Right? You don't get to be bored. Even the inside of your brain goes on forever. Right? I'm working with my 5-year-old daughter on this, trying to teach her this. You can't say you're bored. You know what? You're bored. Okay, go create a story. Create a story in your mind, put it and tell me it. Right? Yep. Come back in 5 minutes and tell me what. And I don't want to throw my kid. I mean, my kid loves Pokemon Let's Go Eevee on her Switch. She gets a half an hour of it.
Yep.
I don't want to throw her a tablet. And I want her to. You're bored? Great. Go experience something. And we have the tech today to do that. Even just the premise of explaining to her that we weren't always able to talk to our phones. We weren't always able to talk to our houses.
Yeah.
We didn't have Alexa.
Yep.
Right. We weren't able to. We had to do things ourselves. We live in an amazing world.
We do, but what I want to pull out of that though is 2 things. One, you took time to go exercise and kind of give your mind some space to wander, right?
Every single day.
And 2, it's not that you're not allowed to be bored, it's that you should be bored to stumble into that stuff, right?
You shouldn't be allowed to say I'm bored.
Yes.
Let me put it that way.
Because that's where creativity comes from.
Being bored is great because that's where you create the things. You shouldn't be allowed, I'm bored. Well, that's stupid. Go do something. Go create something. Think about how many injustices there still are in the world. Go fix one of them.
Yes.
Right? It could be something as simple as I want to go on a campaign for better toilet paper in the airports. Okay, there's no toilet. It is literally like, it evaporates in your hand. There's no toilet paper in the airports that's good. Let's start there. But the simple, and who's to say that someone couldn't start a hashtag and have a trend? And sure enough, Newark puts in better toilet paper.
Absolutely.
Crazy things have happened because someone like me, doesn't understand that it's that the cultural norm says it's not okay to do that.
Which has really been your superpower, right? Is your ability to ask why and why not and could we.
And it's gotten me in a lot of trouble, but it's also gotten me everything I have of greatness in my life.
Absolutely. So let's kind of talk about that, right? Pretend that you don't have any of this stuff and you're starting this journey all over again. You were just espousing about technology. What would be some of the technology you'd want to use right now if you were starting today?
If I was starting today, I would want to get into one ecosystem, have everything there, and just have one phone, whether it's an iPhone, Android, whatever, know that I have access to all that stuff, whatever I'm building. The one thing that I tell students, it's not about the tech, it's not about having access to tech. The one thing human beings don't do anywhere near enough is listen. And I don't mean talk and then wait for them to stop talking so you can start talking again. I mean literally, when I get on a plane, and I think this is the ADHD, when I get on a plane, if you're sitting next to me, unless you fake your death in the flight, I'm gonna know everything about you by the time we land. Now, I didn't say you're gonna know everything about me. I'm gonna know everything about you because I'm just gonna introduce myself and let you talk. And if you wanna keep talking, I'll let you talk the whole flight. Not only will I learn everything about you that could be a competitive advantage if I ever wanna work with you or whatever, chances are if you mention, if on my phone is a photo of my cat and my kid, right? If you mention, oh, I have a cat too. Oh, what's her name? Chenley. Huh, that's her password. Cool. All right. It's
right.
this,
Yes.
The art of listening is a dying art, and that's so great because if you understand that it is, you can use that to your advantage. All you have to do is listen. Human beings like to be heard.
Is that kind of the secret sauce of the podcast, to keep honing the listening skill?
One of them, definitely. I had a drama teacher once. I went to high school performing arts, the FAME school, and a drama teacher once who we were doing a scene. I think I was a sophomore in high school, 15 years old, doing a scene, and I was over emoting like I did everything back then. And he goes, Peter, it doesn't always have to be about you, right? And I will, to this day, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I think that was the first wake-up call. It doesn't. Listening and just letting other people talk is such an underrated skill.
Absolutely. So I would be remiss if I let you go without asking you this question. Entrepreneurs, as they're starting this year and they're going through the journey and they get towards the end and someone wants to acquire them. When I was talking to Scott Belsky the other day, he had this moment where he joined Adobe, then left Adobe, then came back to Adobe. And so for you, what would be that piece of advice the moment you sell a company? What should an entrepreneur do next?
The first thing they need to do is stop, go to a silent place for a minute and a half and realize that they are not as great as they think they are. Don't believe your own press. And I'll close with a phenomenal experience of what happened to me the day after I sold HARO. I sold HARO. They made the announcement in DC at the Vocus Now Cision users conference. Tons of media, tons of everything. I've never had a good self-image. I've always been the fat kid. I've always been whatever, and I've always struggled with imposter syndrome. I get back to my apartment the next day in New York, and I'm in the elevator for the first time in my life. First time, I remember it like it was yesterday. Man, I got it going on. Look what I just did, right? I got money, and I walk into my apartment. Both my cats, I had 2 cats at the time. They'd gotten into a closed 20-pound bag of dried food, eaten as much as they could, drank water, puked it in the road. Repeated this process probably 15 times over the 24 hours I was gone. I spent my first 3 hours as a millionaire on my knees cleaning up cat puke. And to this day, I believe that was supposed to happen. I believe that was the universe's way of saying, great job, stay humble. The cat's name was Karma, for Christ's sake, right? This was supposed to happen. So I think that it's great, you did something, enjoy it, but stay humble.
Awesome. Peter, thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Good time.